Davy called me the next morning and asked me if I'd heard anything, and I said, well, we're not going to get funded, Davy, so we'll just have to wait till the next grant cycle, write another grant, and find another funder. And Davy said, no, we're not going to wait. We're not going to wait that long. He said, you call Darry up and tell him to start building that thing. I'm going to fund it. That's a real rarity. I don't know if it's ever happened before to have a tribal BBCI member fund an exhibit off the boundary.
For a white boy.
Several white boys. But anyway, it's just been a great relationship with Davy, and he was recently awarded the title of Beloved Man in Cherokee.
Congratulations.
Maybe the highest honor. Sue Abrams here with today. She's I serve on the board with her, the North Carolina Trail of Tears Association, and we were talking about this in a meeting a few weeks ago. And everybody on the board felt like it was so well deserved. So, but anyway, I've got a little something. I'm going to let Darry present this to Davy, just a token of appreciation. I was able to contact Pendleton Woolen Mills, and I told them about this event and asked if they ever awarded, a blanket and my sales rep called me back and said the CEO's got one on the way to you.
So this is, if I may.
Yeah, take it on.
This is a way that they honor people in the Native community. I've seen this little ceremony dozens of times in many tribes all across this country. It's been my blessing for a person who doesn't have, as best I can tell, an Indian gene in his body. I have had my life impacted by the indigenous people of this continent so many times over. Out west, up north, I've got around. Started out in the Everglades of Florida and knew the Seminole people well, and then started going to powwows, and I'm still a part of that dance culture where I've got the regalia and I go into the arena and do that with them. And it's one of the great privileges of my life. So we're going to do a little ceremony that I've seen dozens of times across the country in many Native American arenas where they honor somebody, and they do it kind of like this. This beloved man of the Eastern Band of Cherokee. Now that is a rare, it's not just an award, it is a title that only is presented once or twice in a generation. All the old living beloved men, and there weren't many of them, 2 or 3 that we knew, and beloved women have passed away. And this is the young Davy. I happen to know him well enough now for about 35 years to know that in just a few weeks, he's going to turn, is it 69, Davy? In a couple of weeks, he's going to be one of the youngest, and right now, only present living beloved man of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. Brother, come and turn your back to me, please. This is what they do. And then we shake hands. Say a few words for people, if you would.
All right, well, thank you all for coming this afternoon. Hayesville and this community has been really good to me for a long time. And I try to give back every chance I get. This part of the country is beloved to me, and as all Cherokee country is. And I see a lot of faces in the crowd today that are very good friends. Sue and Dr. Abrams are mentors of mine. I've learned more from Dr. Abrams probably from anybody else. I've believe he's got a photographic memory. He reads everything and can remember it all. So for years, I've gone to him for advice and information. And other people, Dawn back here, she was instrumental in nominating me for the title. And so I have some really good friends in the room today. And everyone else that I don't know, I'm sure we'll get acquainted as time goes along. I'll be a part of this community for the rest of my life, I'm sure. And it's great to see a community coming back together. And I've seen a lot of change just while I've been, working around the community down here. I spent some time over at John Campbell and knew some folks over there. And this is a great part of the state. We've got a rich heritage here as the tribe. And so in cooperation, we'll be able to do great things in the future, I'm sure. Thank you again for coming, and this is a great honor to be honored this way by the community. And hopefully we'll see one another again soon. If you come to Cherokee, ask for me, and I'm usually around town there at the Co-op or Museum or somewhere doing something. So look me up and we'll talk about somebody.
I would just say, at the conclusion of these festivities, out there in the lobby where we have our Young Cherokee Hunter Exhibit, Davy and I'll spend a few minutes doing a little dog and pony show about Cherokee culture. So stick around after this is over.
I'd be remiss to not point out that when we were working this project up, Friends of the Library they funded quite a bit of funding for this project, and actually they were sort of the liaison to get this exhibit into the library. So I want to thank them for their part in partnering with us to get this exhibit placed, and hopefully a lot of folks have seen it before.
One more thing. Friends of the library and everybody that has made this possible know that not much of this would happen without Rob Tiger. He's the man.
Wow, that was very special, and thank you. I know every time I talk to Rob and anything about our native culture comes up, he always mentions Mr. Arch and his willingness to be part of our community, which is so important. Goodness, I don't know that I'll ever see a presentation like that in my lifetime. That was beautiful. So we want to extend our sincere appreciation to Mr. Arch and Mr. Wood and all of our special guests for making this event possible, the presentation possible that will be after here. So now we're going to move on to our next honored guest, which is our mayor. It's an absolute privilege of mine. I've had the honor of speaking to her on several occasions, and a truly dedicated mayor to our community, Ms. Benita English. I would like to mention that you grew up here, correct?
I did.
You raised all your children here.
Correct.
So you are not a Floridian.
Correct.
Yeah. But for those many Floridians that are in the room, we appreciate you and the service that you give to our community.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll try to use my school teacher voice. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? What an honor to get to be here for this presentation today. I had no idea, so it was absolutely wonderful. Good afternoon. I'm glad to see all of you here also, and from what I keep hearing, this is the largest crowd you've ever had, so that's wonderful. We're here to celebrate Moss Memorial Library also. This place is an invaluable asset to our town and our community. When we think of what a library is, we see bookshelves full of books and magazines, And Moss Memorial is all of that, but so much more. It's so much more than just a quiet place to read or study. It's a breathing, viable part of this town and this community. Folks come here to connect to stories, to the world, and to each other. Some of the things that you might find here, computers that you are able to use to complete tasks that you might need to complete, free Wi-Fi to do whatever you need to do, maybe like job hunting or just whatever else you want to do. There are meeting rooms available for nonprofits or other groups that just need a place to meet. Tech support, and we've met today, the young lady who's here on Tuesday to assist with that. There's something here for everyone. Opportunities are provided for all kinds of ages and all kinds of needs. There are a variety of happenings under this roof in any given time frame. You might come in for an acoustic music jam where you can enjoy the love of life through song. You might be here for a Master Gardener's program to learn local information about gardening. You might be here with a book group where you're studying about reading a book from around the world. You might be here with a poetry and writers group, encouraging creativity. The children's and teen programs provide a safe, positive place to grow. And when you leave, you can take some of these benefits with you. And I've forgotten, for me, the most important one. I have 2 small grandchildren, so I mean, this month it's the dinosaur scavenger hunt. What could be better? So there really is something for everyone. Some of the things you can take with you, of course, you can take a book with you. We all know that one. You can check out DVDs. They have video games, laptops that are available to take with you. And if you have a mobile device, you can use the Libby app and access audio books and listen to those in your car or when you're cooking dinner or whatever you might like to listen to a book. So wherever you're at, Moss Memorial Library tries to meet you there. And that doesn't just happen with good intentions. There are a lot of folks that work hard and dedicate a lot of time and a lot of love to making this such a big part of our community. And that group is the Friends of the Library, which were just recognized a minute ago. I think there are 10 folks on that board. And I'm pretty sure there are other people that volunteer to help them. So that is the backbone of this library. They partner with the library, they partner with the regional staff, they work diligently on day-to-day operations. If you're outside, they work on the exterior of the building with programs and with plants, and on the interior of the building. So they try to make this welcoming for everyone. And of course, I don't believe I remember this from my notes, but they also have the bookstore. So we sometimes overlook the most obvious thing. But they're the backbone to this library, and that bridges over into this town and this community. Just like humans, Moss Memorial requires a community for it to be sustained. So we can all be a part of that by supporting this library and the Friends of the Library, by membership in the Friends of the Library. This library keeps, and the Friends of the Library keep this the programs alive, the doors open, and we're hoping it'll be vibrant for generations to come. So join Friends of the Library today. If you don't know how, there is a place for applications, or you can pick up an application just inside the Friends of the Library door. Also, if you saw the hands of the folks here today, and many of them have on the blue vests, they will be happy to help you in joining the Friends of the Library. And just as always, they're thrilled to assist people.
Benita?
Yes.
We have a table out in the library where I'll be happy to take renewals or new memberships.
Thank you. Very good. So thank you again, Moss Memorial staff, friends of the library, for your deep love of our town and support of this library, and for making our community such a special place to call home.
Yes.
Because I am so thrilled to be from here, and I am even more thrilled to be mayor of this town. So,
thank you, Mayor England, for those wonderful words in supporting our library. I don't know most of you in the room, but I know some of you. I am Misty Ruffed. I'm Vice President of the Friends of the Library Board and an avid supporter of our library. My two teens are in the teen room right now, and we attend teen night, which is the second and third, or second, fourth Tuesdays. And she has Miss Bridget that puts on the events, and she does great children's events. So if you have children of young ages or teens, there's a slew of programs here. She makes it a lot of fun, and you'll see some of the slideshows. So I'm a big proponent of it. They do pizza, so they entice them with goodies and food. But we hope you enjoyed the slideshow, which showcases the incredible milestones and your membership support has allowed us to achieve. We're looking forward to continuing our mandate to support the library. It's been really an honor to be on the board, and I've gotten to work with some great, wonderful people, creative minds come to life this year. We've done some great things, so I'd like to highlight just a few. We have an upcoming major renovation project. We're going to be doing an office renovation. It's kind of behind the desk. We're funding to complete a renovation of the library's main office to create more functional, welcoming, and efficient environment for our very hardworking staff of the library. They work hard, and they've been in the same space for I don't know how long, but I'm going to say a really long time. So they deserve a freshening of their space. So it's going to be fun to see that. And ongoing library support. We have monthly commitment to purchasing new books for the library and media to ensure what's on our shelves is enticing and current, to keep it engaging. We supply essential materials needed, both behind the scenes to keep the library operations running seamlessly. And that includes on paper, digital, whatever you like. We provide vital funding for our youth and family programs for both children and teens, which again, I personally can't speak enough about. Sometimes there's not a lot to do for the teens in the area, but the library has worked really hard to provide not only a good selection of books, but they've again added an Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, some video games. And next week they're starting a D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. So if you know any of your teens who like Dungeons and Dragons, it's going to be Tuesday from 6 to 8. That's going to be the first one. My teens are personally very excited, so pass the word around. It's probably going to be something that continues. And the beautification of the grounds has been fun to watch out front, funding the outdoor landscaping, and which enhances our curb appeal. We also look forward to purchasing new interior furniture to brighten up the public spaces. And really, that's just the beginning. Again, lots of creative minds have come together this year to really put some good things to work. So it's incredibly exciting time to be a member of the Friends of the Library. We thank you really very much for your continued support, membership, dedication to our mission, and your constant patronage to the bookstore. Again, don't forget the bookstore. If you haven't had the pleasure of going in, the volunteers work very hard. They do a great job, and there's some really excellent choices, both adults and children. You really are the reason the library thrives. So now I'm going to turn it over to Dorothy to speak to our bookstore, although I don't know where she is. Oh, there she is. So thank you. We appreciate all of you.
Didn't know there were going to be so many people. Recognize a lot of you folks. Is John still here?
Yeah.
John? I just have to say, everybody thinks, John, my bad. John? Anybody that walks in the bookstore says, "Oh my gosh, your garden," they take photographs. All due to you, right? Okay. All right. He's out there working all the time in his great farmer's hat. We're all very proud of our bookstore. We've had another busy year. Our visitors for the past 12 months were 7,180, an average of almost 600 a month. It's the best year ever. Most visitors ever. So we're very proud of that. Our success is due to our dedicated and loyal volunteers. Each lady brings something special to the group. We are really a team that works together. We're the only store in Clay County that's run full-time by volunteers, which is kind of special. And we're always open. We keep very strict hours, so if you're coming from afar, we're open. And I want to thank the girls today, Paula Walters and Marcia Christie. I'm not sure if they're here. Paula? Is Paula here? Helen Fire and Beth Solwich, Lori Hobbs and Melinda Bradley. No, Melinda's here. Olivia Anderson, photographer, and Melody Gifford, and Karen Trossel, Sheila Rogers, and Shirley Hofer. And I just have to say, it would not be a bookstore without these girls. So that's. Beverly Skinner, one of our volunteers, has retired. Bev started with me over at the old bookstore. How many people remember the old bookstore? Oh yeah. See, that's great. So she started way back when, and she's just kind of recently retired. She's moving on and doing some other things in the community. And we just want to say we appreciate her years of dedication, and we already miss her very much. Last but not least, a special thanks to our guys, Tommy Gifford and Don Jones. Tommy takes our recyclables every week, and we have a lot. And Don helps with a little bit of everything. His latest job was picking up and delivering 150 cookbooks to the bookstore. And I mean, it was fast. They got him in, and he was in the car and gone. It was really great. I had to laugh. I opened up a box, and I texted a friend with a photograph, and she said, "I'll take the whole box." And I said, "Well, that was a really easy sale." Those books are gone. As a special thank you for coming today, it's today only $5 off your purchase at the bookstore. So I hope everybody will come in after you look at the goodies out front and see Darry and Davy out front. You'll come to the bookstore and do a little shopping. Thanks.
Dorothy, none of this would be happening without you.
They do say I'm awfully bossy. So I don't know.
But you are the cornerstone of everything, so thank you.
You're so pretty, and this is darling.
Hello, my name is Marcy Perched, and I am also a board member, Friends of the Library. Happy to be here with you. I will first ask that I am not from here, but we are very, very happy to be raising our 3 kids here. We're originally from New York, which is why I don't sound like I belong here, but everybody here has welcomed us with open arms, and we are very thankful to be here. So my job is to recognize some of our board members who have served us. The first, Karen. Karen, would you like to wave for us? We would like to thank Karen. She officially left the board last year, but she's always willing to jump in and volunteer and help us. We want to thank her for her service to the board. And Darcy, which you all saw when you walked in. There she is. board after many years of her dedicated service to us, and she has been a steady, thoughtful contributor to projects and a tireless worker. She will be deeply missed, but we're not letting her go. She's going to come back to volunteer with us, so we're thankful for her. And then our new board member, Marianne, over here, Marianne Lee. The nominating committee brought her name to us, and the board has unanimously approved her nomination, but today will be the official vote to bring her in on the board, which Terry is going to take care of next.
So it is your job as members to vote for Mary Ann to be a member of the board. So I'm entertaining a motion.
I motion.
Second?
I second.
Oh,
27
Third,
seconds.
fourth, fifth, and sixth? All right, all those in favor of installing Mary Ann Leak as our new board member?
Aye.
The ayes have it, Mary Ann.
Mary Ann.
And if you, I once again want to thank you for being here and to remind you that Darry and Davy
Yes,
are going to have,
we're ready to go.
they're ready to go.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of food. You're welcome to stay and socialize. But if you're interested in the Darry and Davy Pony and Horse Show, we're going to start that out there anytime.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you again. This has been
Thank you.
wonderful. Yes. As we were saying, we're honored to have Davy Arch here with us today, beloved man of the Eastern Band and my friend for a long time. We would know some of the old people who have passed, who inspired this exhibit. But it was something like 50 years ago in my short life that I saw an old Cherokee man making rivercane blowguns. And as I said, I've been fascinated with Native people ever since I was a little boy. And I had already visited many tribes around the country. But I thought that rivercane blowgun is one of the neatest things I ever saw. I saw some young men down at the Oconomowoc village shooting blowguns. Pretty good accuracy. I started finding historical accounts. In fact, one of my most prominent signs with this exhibit says, this is Lieutenant Henry Timberlake, a British officer in the Overhill towns, what we call those communities on the Little Tennessee River, over in Tennessee, which is where we get the word, from the town of Tennessee and the Tennessee River. Lieutenant Timberlake says, there are a vast number of lesser sort of game, such as rabbits, squirrels, and many other animals besides turkeys, geese, and ducks, pheasants, and ruffed grouse, that are pursued mostly by children who, when they are 10 years old, are very expert at killing with a hollow cane through which they blow a small dart. The weakness of the dart is such that it obliges them to aim for the eye. So people are always curious, did they put any poison on the darts? There's no account of that. They shoot them with pinpoint accuracy and just shoot them right through the head. And some of you may have noticed there's a taxidermied grouse suspended from the ceiling over there. This is about a 20-foot shot, and with this boy's 9-foot blowgun, he very likely would shoot that grouse right through the eye. And of all this list of small game that Timberlake noted, the best probably is the ruffed grouse. That's the nicest piece of white meat in the woods. And we have them around here, right?
They're good.
That's good. They're just good eating. I mean, you can't get
dumplings too.
yeah, you can't get a farm-raised chicken that tastes much better than a ruffed grouse. So I just happened to, somebody bequeathed me with a taxidermied ruffed grouse even before I figured this out, that I was going to put it in this exhibit. But I've been thinking about this exhibit, like I say, for a long time, ever since I saw modern Cherokees having competitions, like at every Cherokee festival. They'd always have a blowgun competition, have men and women's divisions, and certain men within the tribe were known for making the blowguns and darts. And everybody wants to know, well, how do they hollow out the cane? Because we know what this is, everybody immediately calls it bamboo, but this is the Native American bamboo. It's a relative of Asian bamboo, but all the bamboo we have around us in our communities is imported from Asia in the last 100 years or so. But the native river cane has become increasingly rare as bamboo proliferates. And there's lots of bamboo, but Cherokees will pass up a big old stand of bamboo and drive 100 miles or more to get the real native river cane. It doesn't crack as bad as bamboo, but it has the same characteristic of it has these nodes, these joints that have to be drilled out to blow air through it. And people always wonder how that's done, and we don't have time for me to tell you the variety of ways that they figured out how to do that. But the thing to know is the hard part of making a blowgun to shoot accurate is straightening the cane, because it doesn't grow as straight as a commercial rifle barrel, and that's how it has to be if you're going to shoot the bird through the eye. So these old fellers, I guess there's young guys doing it now, they slowly heat the cane in the fire. They spot the crooked place and they eyeball it, and then they either bend it over their knee till it cools. Sometimes they use an edge of a stump or something to straighten it, and they will put a gun, a 9-foot gun like that will be in and out of the fire 50, 60, 70 times to get that just as straight as a commercial rifle barrel. And that's how they can shoot so accurately. And I brought a couple of blowguns today, and here in a minute I said, Dave, we might take a shot. One of the interesting things that always fascinated me is making the darts. Now these are darts, these are extra ones. He's holding a couple in his hand. He's probably not going to miss, but he might take a second shot. He might have some other games. So he's got 2 darts in his hand, and he's got 2 more in this little quiver. So it's 3 native wild plants that makes this kit that allows a very young person to, his mom would give him a basket, and especially in the days of passenger pigeons, they can come back with a whole basket of meat in no time at all. And it's 3 native wild plants that make this. The river cane makes the gun, and the dart is made out of 2 plants. The black locust is the shaft. They split that out, and then they fletch it with the down of a thistle. Now, a lot of us have heard about thistle down, but we don't remember where. I first heard about it in that poem, The Night Before Christmas, where Santa Claus, after filling all the stockings with care, goes back up on the roof and to his team gave a whistle. He was driving reindeer that night. And away they all flew like the down of a thistle. And it is such a unique thing. Like I say, the first time I saw an old man named Hayes Lawsey. Do you remember Hayes Lawsey, Dr. Abram? Yes. He was one of these old timers that barely spoke English. But he was a joyful man, and he loved to make bows and arrows, blowguns and darts. And one of the things that I didn't appreciate, I just brought some thistle down with me because it is such a deal. This is a plant that blooms late in the summer and through the early fall. You've got a window opportunity of several weeks to gather it, and then they clamp it between 2 pieces of cane, split cane like that, so they can make ammo year round. And usually about 2 of these thistle heads will make a pretty good dart. Sometimes the thistle gets away from you, and I'll show you what it looks like before and after. This is this blossom that most farmers would shoot you if you were to distribute the seeds in their field. It's considered an obnoxious plant. Of course, it's also the national flower of Scotland, so those of us who have some Scottish breeding, we're very fond of our thistles, but it's very prickly and hard to handle. But this is the blossom in late summer, and as soon as these purple petals start to turn brown, then they gather it and they put it up. And I happen to have here a little rick of thistle. It was a gift to me. It's the remnants of a gift that Davy Arch must have given me 4 or 5 years ago. And it was originally about 4 feet long. It's between 2 pieces of white oak. You remember who put this up?
I did.
I thought you might have. I never asked. You just gave it to me, and I thought you might have got it from one of the old timers. So Davy put this up some years ago, and I've gradually been trimming it down. These are good big thistle heads too. These ones are hard to get.
They came off of Black Rock Creek, and they're off Soco Creek.
Which is on Qualla boundary, and Davy's from Soco Creek.
Yeah, just right below my house, a few miles.
Well, this has been a wonderful gift, Davy, and I made dozens of darts with this. And I think that if it's not impinging on your time too much, I think together we might could double team them and produce a dart here in a few minutes while we talk about it. Because again, 3 wild plants make this possibility of putting a little critter in the pot and feeding us. And so they don't actively hunt as Cherokees and other, all southeastern native people made blowguns and darts like this. And there's a wonderful account from the creeks. I'll let you later read the sign. But Colonel McKinney said that he tried the boy's blowgun and described the arrow as having the speed and accuracy of a rifle ball. Might be a little bit of an exaggeration. Doesn't have the impact of a rifle ball. It's really fast. We'll shoot for you here in a few minutes. We'll make a dart and shoot. How about that? That's beautiful. He reported that in friendly competition, Creek boys would snuff out a candle in 4 out of 5 attempts and could bring down birds with a single try. So I've been enamored with this little simple weapon for a long time, and I think Davy, would you come and just talk a little bit more about the blowgun and your experience, and I'll start to make a dart shaft.
When you get your dart shaft whittled out, you do it, or I do, a lot the same way I do a blowgun. I'll heat the shaft, and while it's hot, I'll flex it and straighten it, and then when it cools, it'll stay straight. And I'll fire harden the tip a lot of times.
What kind of wood are we using here?
Black locust or yellow locust.
So this is a piece that's been in the weather for a long time. This is like the most durable species of hardwood in North America. I had an old mountain man one time tell me that locust will outlast a rock.
That's why people make fence stakes out there.
There's the fence post of black locust that's been in the ground 150 years, and you can still make a dart out of it.
Yeah. They're around on my farm. I live up Soco on a farm I inherited from my grandpa, and there's stakes in the ground that have been there all my life that we've still got the barbed wire hanging on. And we're replacing some of them with T-posts and stuff nowadays, but it lasts forever. We make our bows out of it. And,
good bow wood.
Yeah, good bow wood. Makes some great firewood too. It'll burn your biscuits. Puts off a lot of heat.
Probably it's more BTUs and locusts than about anything.
Yeah, and Darry will bust it down. It splits really straight, and he'll bust out a dart shaft like this and whittle it down. I like to lay a piece of leather on my leg and pull the dart shaft under my knife and scrape it to get it real symmetrical. And once you get a set of dart shafts whittled out, he'll take the dart shaft and tie a thread to the end of the dart shaft. He'll split it just a little bit and put the thread inside the dart shaft and do a couple half hitches and secure it to the end of the dart shaft. And with that thread, he'll secure the down to the shaft. And when he does this, he'll hold the down out of one of these seed pods between his thumb and forefinger, hold the thread that he's got tied to the end of the dart shaft in his mouth to keep even tension on the dart or the string, and he'll push the dart shaft up against the thistle down and twist the dart shaft. As he turns the dart shaft, the down will be trapped between the thread and the dart shaft, and it'll spiral on. He'll press the dart shaft forward as he twists it, and it'll just roll right on. It takes about 2 pods of this thistle down to create a dart like this. And the more even you can apply that down, the better the dart will fly. And if you get too much on it on a small bore blowgun, it takes a lot of pressure to blow it through there. But usually, if a person gets used to shooting the same blowgun a lot, he'll customize his darts to that gun. And you'll always have one dart that's your go-to dart. It's just like handmade archery equipment. You'll have an arrow if you need to make a sure shot that you'll go to. So every shooter has his favorite darts. Darry spoke about the competition a little earlier. Going back, Chiltowski was a champion for years in Cherokee. I don't know if any of you guys ever knew Going Back and Mary Chiltowski, but Going Back was an engineer and a perfectionist. And his blowgun, he'd milled out, and it did look like a gun barrel. And Juggy Swimmer, William Swimmer, was champion for years and years. He worked at the Indian Village and practiced every day.
For Davy was manager at the Indian Village.
And so he won quite a bit of the competitions. Bob Reed was another fella who taught me, Bob Reed's the one who taught me how to make blowguns and darts. I was working with him and Hayes Lawsey, and Hayes was pretty good about showing me stuff and let me use his cane and his thistle and things like that. But Bob and I worked making arrowheads at that station, and so I got, one-on-one with Bob, and he would really show me a lot of specifics about what to do and what not to do, and he was a master at a lot of things. He's crazy as all get out.
He's a hard man to beat in the contest.
And fish, he'd rather fish than eat, I believe. But Bob and I have had a lot of fun over the years, but he taught me a lot. When I was really young, my parents worked at the Indian Village and at the Mountainside Theater in the summertime. And I would go up there and stay with Bob and William Swimmer at the Arrowhead section when I was just, 8, 9 years old, maybe younger than that. And so I learned to do a lot of things really early. And when I got out of high school, I hired on at the village. And it ruined me. It's like getting paid to play. Hang out in the woods and talk to people and make stuff for a living. I loved it. So I worked there a long time, and I was fortunate to work with a lot of people like Hayes and a lot of the elders that helped build the village in Cherokee. And these people lived these lifeways. It wasn't just something done as a novelty for the tourist industry. That's what a lot of our arts have turned into. But the people that I knew when I was growing up lived these lifeways. You'd go home with them, they'd be cooking food and cast iron pots, they'd be picking up potatoes and cane baskets, they'd be fishing with traditional fishing techniques. And so I was raised in a time right on the edge of a transition in our culture. My youngest brother's 10 years younger than I am. And by the time he was born, we'd moved into a modern house, had televisions and our own bedrooms. He never fished or hunted or anything. Spent 20 years on a nuclear submarine. So he was a computer hacker for the Navy, basically. So he's at the total other end of the spectrum from me. All I want to do is lay around the woods and fish and crawl around on creek banks, but
Carve masks. This man is one of the great carvers of Cherokee ceremonial clan masks.
Yeah, I've been an artist all my life. When I was a kid, people asked me, "What you going to be when you grow up?" I'd say, "I'm an artist." I've always looked at myself as an artist. And my parents and grandparents messed up when I was real young by telling me I could do anything I wanted to. So I have. I was raised right. My dad was a Baptist preacher, and my mom was a nurse. And so all this other stuff I've done on my own. But I've been fortunate, really fortunate. I grew up where the casinos at in Cherokee. We farmed in that bottom when I was a boy, and I've still got the horse-drawn equipment we used. We were farming with horses right there in the middle of town, heating and cooking with wood and using an outhouse until I was about 10 years old. And then while the housing came in and started building modern houses, and that's when everything changed. Okay, Darry's going to take a...
Unless you want to demonstrate?
No, go ahead. And I like talking.
Me too.
So here's some 5-year-old Davy Arch thistle. We'll see if they still work. I got last year, sometime a moth will lay an egg in there and it'll make it matted so you can't clean it right. There's about 6 parts to a flower, and it's been a long time since I had biology, but y'all might remember there's pistils and stamens and one thing and another. It's just a bunch of sex talk we don't need to get into. But the only thing you want is the little parachute. And here's one that's about to turn loose. Yeah,
This is what you want out of the seed pod?
Yeah.
This is the parachute that carries the seeds in the wind, and you have to control it, or it'll fly all around like they just then with there.
That's the hard thing about this, is controlling the thistle. It's like doing card tricks or something. You know, you gotta keep your fingers just right. I think I'm gonna throw that one away and get one.
Yeah, that one had already broke open.
Yep.
When you take it off the stick like this, you'll need to kind of loosely hold the seed pod and pull the dead stamen out of the seed pod. It'll turn loose of the seed, and that'll reveal the white down. And then once you get it cleaned and get all that brown stamen off of it, then you can take the white down out of the seed pod, and it'll still have the seeds attached to it. So you'll put it in your hand, and I like to hold my finger and my thumb together like that and rub the seeds, and it'll loosen the seeds off of the fibers. And each one of those little parachutes has a little circle at the bottom of it that holds those fibers together. You'll need to break those little circles up and make individual fibers out of that thistle down. And so that's what Darry's doing now. He's brushing the end of that thistle down where the seeds were attached and breaking it up into individual fibers. That way, when he ties it to the dart shaft, it'll lay more evenly as he ties it on. And that'll cause the dart to fly more accurately and makes a prettier dart too. Some of my darts look pretty mangy, but they still fly. I've shot them probably 500 times, and they do wear out. You know, they will wear out with use.
You lose a few fibers each shot.
Yep, you really do.
And you've got thousands of fibers there, and the tighter you can roll it, what I'm about to show you, the tighter you can do it, the longer the dart lasts.
He's taking the stamen out right now. This is kind of a tedious process because you don't want to catch too much of it, or you'll pull out some of the fiber that you want to attach to the dart shaft. So you just have to be very gentle. Sometimes it'll kind of stick, and I'll twist it just a little bit to loosen it off the seed before I pull it. And that way it'll keep the white down more even in your hand. And
it's kind of like that old parlor trick of jerking the tablecloth and leaving the cups and sauce sitting down there.
If you don't do it just right. And this is where practice comes in. I've seen Hayes on a sunny day when the humidity was down real low in the air. He would take his stick and just run it under a spout and wet it. And it caused it to absorb a little bit of moisture, and it caused that thistle down to relax a little bit, and it was a lot easier to control when he was tying the dart.
You can't do it if it's real dry.
If it's real dry and arid outside, a little bit of breeze, it's almost impossible. And so people through trial and error over the years learned to do things like that.
So this is a job that requires 3 hands. But the great creator only gave me 2. So I resort here to an old Indian trick of using the teeth as a 3rd hand, okay? And my job is to try to keep tension on that string like a fiddle string, sort of. Let's see how it goes.
And he'll try to keep even tension. And watch how he forces that dart against the down and twists it away from him. That way the down's trapped between the thread and the string, and he's pushing the dart forward too a little bit as he turns it, and that will allow that down to spiral down the dart shaft and be laid on more evenly. And if you stay in one spot too long, it'll make a knot on the dart, and you don't want that. You want good even thistle. See, now that's as far as one pod went.
And a really good dart should probably have a fletching about 1/3 the length of the shaft. But rather than take your time to make another one, I'm just going to tie this off and get ready to shoot it. And I wonder where we could make a range here. I bet back here, Rob can catch them. Yeah, Rob, put that apple on your hand.
Like Johnny Appleson, put that apple on.
Set that up against that bookcase that says adult picture. Yeah, that's good. That's about similar.
What Darry's gonna do now, he's ended the dart, or he's put as much thistle on there as he's going to. So he'll wrap that thread around the dart a few times and then put some half inches on it to secure the thread in place. And then just trim off the excess. And once he does that, he'll fluff it up.
And grill it with another dart.
Yep. And take another dart and just kind of pick that down, and it'll try to limber up the fibers. The down that came off of that was what wasn't trapped under the thread.
Now, if you're making darts and guns on the same site, I think I told you already that the blowgun is made in the fire. That's how it's straightened. So if you've got a situation where you're making guns and darts around a fire, this is a little simpler because now this part where I started is kind of rough and it doesn't catch the breath so good. So I'm going to come over here and get my Geek Crow gun. Davey would remember this man well.
Yeah, Geek was something else. His name was Richard, but everybody called him Geek. And he stuttered when he talked, but he could sing like a bird. And I asked him one time, I said, why do you sing so well and you can't talk? And he said, well, he said, when I was young, he said, I stuttered. And he said, there was an old man, an old Cherokee doctor came to their house. And he said they took him out to the river and caught we call them a river cricket, a water cricket. They got two big, they look like a praying mantis kind of. They got two big legs on the front of them. And they took one of them and scratched Geek's tongue with it and put medicine on it. And he was in line to be a singer and someone to conduct the ceremonies. Kids, the old guys knew that kids were in line to do certain things, so they ordered him to be a singer. His speech never corrected, he still stuttered all the way. But I had a lot of fun with Geek over the years. We were at a festival one time in South Georgia, and he and his wife and family would come and do dance programs, and they'd set up a display of arts and crafts. Well, someone had body jewelry there in a booth. So we got a nipple ring and took it down and put it in Geek's display. When he found out, he went off.
So if we were making guns now, I'd load it right up to the end of the shaft, and with that sticking out, I would just wave it through the fire. But absent that, in our present situation, I'm going to just burn the dart off like that, and that creates a nice little flat cup.
Yeah, it'll flatten it like this one is. This flattens the top of it off. And the cane keeps it from burning on down.
You're in the tart, you're right by the tart.
Darry will fill his lungs up with air and just give it a quick release, just kind of shooting spitballs.
I'm sorry. Terrible. No, it wasn't good.
No, that's what I was saying.
Wait a second. I tell you what, now we got. I got a quiver full of darts. And my favorite, now this is a Hayesville gun. We were just talking, you shoot that one.
All right.
And I've got some darts here, 2 sets, one of which is marked with a crest. Just put it on there with a little felt tip marker. Black and red, favorite Cherokee colors, right?
Those were the colors of war. Black and red. If you saw a warrior with red paint on, you knew he was ready to go to battle. If he was painted black, he was on the front line. He was ready to give his life. You know.
Let's see if we can make a few better shots than that last one.
All right. Hitting the tail feathers instead of the eye.
Lost some air there. You hear that little? Losing air. Got to keep it real tight at the mouth.
That's why we hold it up here and hold your hand around your lips, keep them from blowing
And
out.
people often wonder how, why we don't support it like a firearm out there like that. But a steel long rifle barrel is about 3 or 4 pounds of iron. This is about 15, 16 ounces of rivercane, and we can cantilever it off our front fingers and get a good seal back here at the mouth, and try not to have a blowout, like I said. In a contest on the firing line, if you hear these like little farts, they all kind of laugh. He lost his shot right there. And Davy's beating me bad here. No, not my day. Hey, you're the winner, dude. So we're not claiming we can answer any questions, but that kind of concludes the dangerous part of our show. And certainly I don't pretend to be able to answer any and all questions, and Davy's humble enough knows that he can't either. But anything before we go? Yes.
Would the distance usually be longer than this?
Well,
Or further?
actually, for accurately shooting a bird through the eye, 25 or 30 feet like we've got here is what you would
about what this
expect.
is? Okay.
Now, in Cherokee competitions, they shoot at different distances, and the maximum distance is 60 feet.
60 feet, yeah.
60 feet.
A lot of those guys will hit a 5-inch circle, they use an archery target,
With 60 feet?
and 60 feet, they'll put every dart in the center.
But he was talking about old man going back Chiltosky, who was one of the great Cherokee artists of the 20th century. Lovely man. And he didn't have much lung power left, but he would arc the dart. He would hold the gun high. He didn't have the lung capacity of the young guys, but he could hold the blowgun high and lob those darts right into the center of that at a considerable range. It was very lovely to see. And again, he was a Cherokee speaker who was admired by any, and I thought of him as the oldest of the distinguished artists, him and Miss Amanda Crow of their generation. And I used to introduce Davy 35 years ago as the youngest of the aspiring artists. And here we
switched around now.
got to switch around a little bit. And I would just say about, I probably got too many signs here, and I won't try to tell you all about it, but this guy is dressed in the clothing of the early 19th century, and not much documented Cherokee clothing survives, but I've managed to get around to museums, and it's been a blessing in my life to have mentors who could show me about this early material culture that there's not a lot of evidence for. And one of the things that is a little bit out of date is his haircut, because he's got the old warrior hairstyle at a time when most men and boys had started to let their hair grow, kind of like Davy has. But in the 18th century and before, just about all indigenous American men plucked and shaved the hair from their head and had a characteristic hairstyle for every tribe. And you could see a man or a group of men coming. And although their clothing wasn't different enough to distinguish them, you could tell from a long distance what tribe the guy was by his hairstyle. And this is probably early 1800 clothes, but from a very conservative, proper family. So he's still wearing the late 1700 period of hairstyle with wampum beads. Some of that beads in his hair ornament are real quahog shell wampum, which is one of the most valuable things in the trade among the native people. And so, like I say, he's from a conservative family and running a little bit, his haircut, by then almost obsolete, but very traditional people would still wear it like that. He's made with Clay County cherry, if anybody, cherry wood, just without any stain on it. It just naturally ages like Native American complexion. You know, it has that.
Is the whole body wood, or?
The whole body is wood. I will tell you that underneath the clothing, it's not all cherry wood. I use pine
Okay,
and
but
cheaper
it's not
wood.
stuff.
No, it's all a carved piece, but an assembly of pieces of wood.
Okay.
And underneath the clothing, it's mostly, just like with this lady right here, Isabel, she's the same thing. Her hands and breast and face are made of cherry wood, but underneath her clothing is poplar and pine and softer, easy to carve wood. Yeah. So, we've enjoyed this.
Show you all my new shoes. Darry gifted me this pair of moccasins. Made out of deer skin. It's the best leather in the world. And, they claim everything's got a brain large enough to hang its own hide. I don't believe mine would do mine. But, so thank you, Darry, for my new shoes.
Here, set it up,
And
Davy.
thank you all for coming. If you'd like photographs or have more questions, just come on up.
I would tell you that, I mean, you can see just from this, little program they did today, both of these guys are usually at our outdoor classroom with 2nd, 4th, 8th grade. We've conducted some university outdoor, we still do that with Young Harris College. And it's fun to watch a 4th grader's eyes light up. I mean, they've got their attention hook, line, and sinker, and telling stories and flint napping, projectile points. Larry does, or Gary does a great job of building fire without a map. So it's been a great program having people
It's
like
been one of the
this.
pleasures of our life working with these young people.
It's great. I love kids, it's like little sponges.
And the 4th graders don't get any of this at all.
No, middle schoolers, you know, they kind of know it. Well, one of my favorite stories I like to tell children is a story about black dogs smell one another's tails when they meet. You know, have you ever noticed when dogs meet, they'll smell one another's tails? Well, the Cherokees know why they do that. And so way back, we were dancing and having so much fun, the dogs decided they were going to have their own dance. This was in a time when everything could talk to everything else. So the dogs got off out in the woods and started dancing, but their tails got in the way. So they took their tails off and laid them in a big pile over there, danced around. One of them looked up and saw somebody coming, and they didn't want the humans to know they could take their tails off. So he hollered, "There comes somebody." They all ran and grabbed the tail, but they grabbed the wrong one. So now when they meet, they'll smell that other dog, see if he's got his tail.